All right, so you're welcome to another episode of JH Movie Freaks Hot Take with Tony Asankomah. It's been a while since I recorded a hot take. Doing other stuff, side missions, dealing with other issues, and essentially not finding anything that's conversation worthy for me to record a hot take on. But I chanced on this post earlier today, and I just felt the need to give my hot take on it. And before we go into that, I would entreat anybody watching this to please subscribe to this channel if you already haven't. Do well to like this video, share this, and leave a comment in the comment section if you have any thoughts or opinions on what I'm about to give my hot take on. Right, let's just dive right into it. Okay, so this is a post I chanced on radio presenter and should I even say, what other title should I even give to him? Let's just say radio presenter and entertainment journalist. Yes, Caleb Boy's Facebook page. He actually shared a screenshot of a post that I found very interesting and conversation worthy because I have a couple of things to say about that post. So the post reads, and it's from Benedict Owusu. I don't exactly know him, but the post reads, why don't Ghanaian movie producers put their movies on YouTube after premiering and showing them at the cinemas for months? You see nice trailers all over, and after showing it at the cinemas for months, you don't see it anywhere. I see the Nigerians put current movies on YouTube and don't even stress about premiering. And guess what? The numbers are crazy. They are really cashing out there. Interesting. And this post has 5 likes and 3 comments. I'm sure it has more comments and likes on it at the moment. I only saw it as a screenshot that's being shared by Caleb Boy. And I'm going to give my hot take on this, right? Because this is something that you hear often in the space. When I say you hear often, any Ghanaian filmmaker or anybody that works in the space of the Ghanaian film industry hears this conversation. Anytime, even from my side, right? Anytime I post a Ghanaian film trailer, in the comments you see people saying, "Is this on YouTube? When is it gonna come on YouTube? Why don't they put their films on YouTube?" And I'm like, okay, I can understand that the reason why there's this conversation about putting your films on YouTube is because of like the demand and accessibility, right? And first of all, we need to understand a few things, okay? And when I say we, I'm talking about us consumers and also us industry people. Don't get me wrong. What Benedict is suggesting is not a bad idea, but it has its downsides, okay? And we can't necessarily do that because Nigerian film industry is doing that, or we see Nigerian film industry doing that. And in any case, it's not what it seems like, right? So here's it. Every film is a product, right? And every product, for those that are in marketing and it's common knowledge that every product goes through a cycle, right? And for most films, the cycle it goes through is it goes to cinema first, then after cinema, it goes on to DVD, or maybe it goes on to streaming before it gets into, like, it lands on DVD, right? And the reason this happens is that the chunk of money, anybody will tell you this, the chunk of money that's made from the film industry is money that's made in the cinemas, right? And that is the product life cycle of every film. It's supposed ideally to go to cinema first. Unfortunately, in Ghana, we do not have a strong cinema culture, or we do not have that many cinemas at the moment. So it becomes very difficult for most producers to even make enough money from the cinemas. Granted, in Nigeria, they have about, I think 250 screens alone. Okay, not cinema companies, but 250 screens plus, right, in Nigeria. And Ghana has just under 10, right? So ideally, a Nigerian film released in cinema in Nigeria is very much likely to make more money or be more profitable than a Ghanaian film that is released in Ghana in cinema, right? It's only been a few cases where we've seen a Ghanaian film go to cinema or get a cinema release only in Ghana and do very well because probably it's a very good film and there's high demand for that film. So if you are looking at it this way, you would think that it's not that profitable to release your film in cinemas and think that, okay, if you put your film on YouTube, you are going to make more money. But that's not entirely the case, okay? Because, again, like I mentioned, streaming or YouTube or whatever is most typically at the tail end of the life cycle of the film and is most often considered as a residual source of income or a residual source of profit for the film, right? Think of it this way. When you've done your cinema run, right, you have several other options to exploit commercially from the film. You could sell rights to a TV station, you could sell rights to some distributor, you could have airline deals, you could have you could even do festival runs or whatever with the film. But essentially, putting that film on YouTube means you are, in some sense, done with exploiting the economic rights of the film. Because when you put your film on YouTube, it becomes almost accessible to piracy. And that's the biggest bane for the film industry in terms of not making profit. Okay. When your film is on YouTube, it means anybody and everybody has access to it. We've seen scenarios where a film gets put on YouTube and then it gets ripped up and put on other channels, and you, the owner of the film, does not necessarily control how well the film is doing. Because there have been scenarios where you'd see a film and then somebody will rip the film, put it on their channel and give the film a different title and give it a different like thumbnail or something, and people will watch it on that channel, and whoever is behind that channel will make more money, right? So there is some, there is some, should I say, some gray areas when it comes to just putting your film out there on YouTube. I think another thing the Ghanaian audience needs to understand is that most of the films you see on Nigeria YouTube are films that are purposefully made by those producers for YouTube. Yes, those films are purposely made for YouTube by those producers. They do not have the idea of premiering those films in the cinema in mind. They just make those films for YouTube. And if you should pay close attention to those films, you would find that they are most often very cheaply made, right? That's why they will not go and star a very A-list actor or A-list talent. They would, play around with newbies or people who are now like cutting their teeth in the industry, and they are usually very simple stories, not too complex. I think lately they've been very good in terms of production elements, but the stories are not that exciting because those films are purposely made for YouTube, right? In some cases, it would be a very, very short story, maybe a 1 hour runtime. In some cases, it could be a very long story, and then they'll split it into two parts, part 1 and 2, because those films are mainly made for YouTube, right? So, yes, it makes sense that Ghanaian producers should take advantage of that, but it does not make sense for a producer who has shot a film that they are looking to exploit in all forms economically to just dump the film on YouTube when it could essentially truncate or end the life cycle of that product. Because once the film gets on YouTube, it doesn't make it is not appealing to any distributor or any streaming platform. So you've made a film, and your film is something that you believe is of Netflix standard, right? You want to get it on either Netflix or any of these top streaming platforms. And usually, when the film is that good and you get a good deal, you are able to make a good amount of money, right? Why would you go and put that film on YouTube and think that Netflix will come for it, or think that Amazon will come for it, or even think that some airline or some distribution company that places films on flights would come for your film when it's accessible on YouTube? You see, so usually that is the challenge Ghanaian producers are faced with. They are looking at all the options that they can make money out of the film, right? And usually YouTube is at the very tail end, unless they decide that, okay, I am making this film purposely for YouTube. And I think that currently we are seeing some Ghanaian film producers going that route where they are like, okay, I'm just going to produce for YouTube. I'm not going to worry about Premiere. I'm not going to worry about getting a TV deal. I'm not going to worry about licensing or any other form of distribution. I produce, I edit, I dump on YouTube. That's fine. You could grow your audience. And we've seen it. We've seen channels that are clocking, 1 million views in a week, making outrageous, not outrageous, but making reasonable money on YouTube. But that shouldn't be the route for every Ghanaian producer. And I'm saying this in response to this post that I've seen and this conversation that is most often seen when there's a good or a nice Ghanaian film trailer out there where people are like, when is it going to be on YouTube? I think the conversation now, what we should be pushing for, and I've maintained for a very long time, is that we should encourage for the revival of our cinema culture, because Nigerians are cashing in the cinema more than you think they are cashing in on YouTube. Okay, the films that do well in Nigerian cinema make more money than the films that you think are doing well on YouTube. That's a fact. Okay, to the point where some of these producers do so well in the cinema that they are comfortable to now start producing substandard content for YouTube. And that's the fact. Okay, anybody that understands film and watches film closely will realize that a lot of the films that you watch on YouTube are not that good. Maybe they're entertaining enough to have you want to spend your data or sit around for 2 hours and watch part 1 and part 2. But those are usually the films that do not make it to other forms of streaming platforms that are looking for a certain quality of content. Okay, I think it's a brilliant idea. I think some producers should consider focusing on producing content just for YouTube. But I think we should run away from that conversation where we are forcing or making it seem like Ghanaian producers who do not put their films on YouTube are not serious or are not thinking about their audience. If you, the audience, really care about these producers, when the films are in cinemas, please go out and watch the film in cinema, right? If the producer feels like they've made enough money from cinema, they wouldn't mind putting that film on YouTube, because once it's on YouTube, there's no guarantee that they can even protect it from piracy, because you've seen it too many times. We've seen it too many times. People would download those films from YouTube, show it on TV, or even put it on another YouTube channel, change the title, change the thumbnail, and make money off it. And then what happens to that producer? And you make an argument like they are really cashing in out there. They could be. But YouTube money for films or YouTube money for films produced in Nigeria cannot be compared to the money the films that are doing well in cinemas in Nigeria are making. That's a fact. You could debate this anyway, anyhow, but that really is the fact. So yes, let's change the conversation. Let's push the conversation to a point where we are looking at establishing more cinemas in Ghana and encouraging more of our producers to make films for cinema, whilst we, the audience, also encourage ourselves to, go to the cinema, pay for these films, and the producers make money. So if along the line they realize that they've made enough money from the film, then, only then, can they consider that they are going to put the films on YouTube. Or they can just make up their minds that they are just going to produce for YouTube, right? Good. I think this is a conversation we should keep on having. I want to hear other people's thoughts on it. So if you have any thoughts and opinions on this conversation, please do well to share them in the comment section. If you already haven't, like I said from the beginning of this video, make sure you hit the subscription button and hit the notification bell as well, so that anything that we post on this channel, you'll be the first to see it. My name is Asankomah, and this is my hot take. Peace.